Now, if we look at Bitcoin, I talked about this. I said, guys, this is a topping tail here. Topping tail is a specific candle formation that probabilities, again, probabilities are everything. Probabilities dictated that when you get a topping tail and it fits the criteria, that now you have a top in the chart. I said that on that day. Since then, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 down days, 1 bounce, another down day, and a big fall. We broke this level here. The reason why that's so important is because you now have a negation of any bullish consolidation. This was bullish consolidation even with the topping tail. It was sideways chop. You've now broken below the low of that bullish consolidation.
Welcome back, future millionaires. Today in this crypto video, we will be discussing Gareth Soloway's price prediction on the market, some expert trading strategies, also where Bitcoin and other crypto assets are headed, when the bottom of Bitcoin is going to be in, and so much more news happening around the crypto space. Please guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and listen to this video carefully because you are putting an investment into your future. Without any other further interruptions, let's get to the video. So future millionaires, what are topping tails that Gareth Soloway is talking about, you may ask? Well, a topping tail comes with many variations. However, one thing that a topping tail has in common is that it can be easily identified by a very long tail. Here are some examples of topping tails to get you familiar with them. The topping tail can take many different shapes and forms. Some have a red body, indicating that it closed lower than the open for the day, while others have a green body, indicating that it closed higher than the open. Okay, future millionaires, now you know what a topping tail is. But what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, let's hear what Gareth Soloway has to say about this topping tail that Bitcoin is displaying.
Now, you will have support on Bitcoin right here. This is your FTX beginning drop over here. So if I zoom out, FTX news came out here, it fell. We hit it right here. You can see how it pulled back and then broke out. This will now be a scene of the crime support. If that breaks, there's no support until 18,400. Okay. Now on the upside, if we ever close above that topping tail high, all right, let me repeat that. If we ever close above that topping tail high, that is a negation of the bearish topping tail. You should expect price to go up to at least 25,000, potentially close to 30,000.
Don't be baffled. They all share one characteristic: an extremely long upper tail. And they're very easy to spot. If you have to use a magnifying glass and zoom into the chart to determine whether it is a topping tail or not, it is not. Topping tails should be simple.
All right, now again, that's a big if. When does that happen? I mean, eventually it'll happen in the next bull cycle, whenever that is, but that's what I would watch for on the other side. And we haven't even taken out this high at 25,000, which was kind of even a little bit above that. If we look at the 2021 level here, right? So if we go to the lows of 2021, basically it crosses right through this area here, right? So this area and then this area.
Well said, Gareth. Guys, if we pass the resistance of this bearish topping tail, more likely we may finally see a bottom for Bitcoin at $30,000. You may be asking, what is the proof of this statement? Do I have any evidence? Well, let's hear what Gareth Soloway's explanation is on why we may actually be close to the bottom.
For me, in the very least, we would need to see Bitcoin trade above 30 for me to even start to kind of think that maybe the lows are in. And again, it makes a lot of sense, right? If we can establish ourselves back above this level, now you're back above some very pivotal levels in the last couple of years in Bitcoin's history. And you could argue that you're kind of closer to the highs at that point. You're getting closer to that 50% closer to the highs versus the lows on the chart. So I think 30,000 for me would be a pivotal level. There is one more level that I want to show you here, which is it was a key breakdown point. So you just want to watch this as well. You have your pivot lows here connecting perfectly to here, and we can see we broke there. So if we did get above 30, we would want to see what happens at 42, but already at 42, you could still have the lows in. So I think 30,000 for me is really a big pivotal level here.
So future millionaires, be mindful that we may be at the bottom of Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin reaches $42,000, it is a good indicator we are heading to a promising bull run. In other crypto charts, Ethereum, the world's second largest cryptocurrency, isn't looking too good. You may want to be more cautious when trading Ethereum at this point.
I am seeing a chart on ETH being asked about. Let's take a look at ETH. I know you guys love your ETH. Look at this, guys. This is not good news for Ethereum. Ethereum had this channel that I've talked about in my daily crypto videos that are on verifiedinvestingcrypto.com. Look at the break below the line. You closed below. Now you haven't confirmed, so there is a small, albeit small, chance it can get back above that line. If it doesn't and it confirms, you'll have minor support at 1500, and then there's no support until 1325. Okay, so that's kind of, it's definitely like it's borderline breakdown here. I wouldn't classify this as a full-fledged breakdown because it hasn't confirmed the break yet, but it is like it's hanging on by a nail, like one finger's on the cliff and it's hanging over the cliff at this point.
Never invest 100% of your asset in anything, guys. If you went all in on Ethereum, your asset portfolio is going to dramatically decrease. That's why you should always diversify your asset, because you can have a bad day at any time. Think ahead and do not trade with emotions, because you will lose in the long term.
Makes sense. If Tesla's going to pull back, if Nvidia, those are risky risk assets, it makes sense that crypto could be in trouble. Does it also make sense that if the dollar is making a bull flag and it breaks up, that we could also see crypto fall in this chart? Yes, it does. It all should align, right? And again, it doesn't mean it's always going to work out perfectly. We never invest 100% of our assets into anything, because any one of my trades could be wrong. Trust me, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. But by diversifying out amongst multiple different trading opportunities, we limit our risk. And then again, if you're going to bat, let's say in general, I bet 70 to 80%. So 70 to 80% of all my trades are successful, right? That's generally what my history has shown. What that means still is that 2 to 3 out of every 10 are going to be wrong. So I can't bet the farm on one trade, because what if that's one of the 2 or 3 that's going to be a bust? So what I do is I spread my money out amongst those, knowing that the overall win rate will be there by using technical analysis, and that then gives me an overall net positive gain in my portfolio. S&P 500, we'll look at this. We did have a breakout above this scene of the crime here. So what does this mean? If we were to pull back to this level, what is that telling us? This should be a bounce. Would it be a long-term investment? Nope, not according to what I just said over the, about markets going down. But could we get a little trade here? Absolutely. And then honestly, I would probably look for it to go and break lower. Eventually, it's going much, much lower on the S&P, but this would be a trade right around 393, 392 on the spiders if we got down there based on this classic retrace, again, to the scene of the crime.
I hope you future millionaires are learning something about reading charts. If so, please don't forget to hit the like button. Now, guys, we will be looking at the US dollar. Why? Because the US dollar will give us an indicator of what is going to happen in the crypto space. If the US dollar price goes up, that means crypto goes down, and the same thing will happen the other way around.
Or let's go right over to the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Now remember, the dollar is absolutely a inverse indicator for the markets and for risk assets. Now, again, can anyone tell me what pattern formation this is right here? What pattern formation is that, guys? Come on. I know someone knows it out there. Someone take a stab. All right, well, anyways, I know a bunch of you guys know it, but bottom line is this is a bull flag formation on the dollar. The US dollar, again, is putting in a bullish consolidation pattern there. What can we extrapolate from this setup? What's the probabilities? And remember, everything technical that I do is all about probabilities. So ultimately what this means is whether or not the dollar goes up today or next week, this is telling us probabilities are the dollar is going to start to move higher. What does that mean for risk assets? Should we expect upside in the market or downside? And the answer is downside. In the crypto markets, would we likely see more downside? The answer is yes as well. If the dollar is moving higher, we likely will see downside in risk assets. All right, where would the dollar go in terms of a short-term target if this bull flag does start to play out? The answer is pretty easy here, right? So you have this little area right here. And again, this would be my target on the dollar. This is where I would consider buying Bitcoin again for a quick trade, or I would consider buying some stocks or the S&P or the NASDAQ. Look at this pivot low right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. This pivot low with this pivot low with this high with this high. See how it all aligns? That tells you there is a major level there that's going to be resistance. It's a former level that was huge. We've been away from it for a little time. So if the dollar rallies up, 105.50 essentially is going to be big resistance.
I hope you guys enjoy the video so far. In other news flooding around the crypto space, according to the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission intends to sue stablecoin issuer Paxos, which is behind the Pax Dollar and Binance USD tokens, over the latter stablecoin. According to an SEC spokesperson, the commission does not comment on the existence or non-existence of a potential investigation. According to the report, the SEC claims that BUSD is an unregistered security. The announcement comes just days after CoinDesk reported that Paxos is being investigated by the New York Department of Financial Services, though the scope of the investigation is unknown. BUSD is a Binance-branded stablecoin issued by Paxos, a trusted company based in New York with a provisional charter from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, a federal bank regulator. Following the announcement of the SEC's intentions, Paxos announced that it would suspend the production of new BUSD tokens. BUSD is a stablecoin wholly owned and managed by Paxos, a Binance spokesperson told CoinDesk. As a result, the BUSD market cap will continue to fall over time. Paxos will continue to manage redemptions and service the product. Well guys, that is it for this video. Leave your thoughts in the comment and don't forget to like and subscribe for more crypto videos like this.